What's up, everyone? So, welcome back to the channel. It is so good to see all of you back here yet again because something arrived at the house today that I wanted to do a quick little video on. I'm super excited to try it out. Well, I guess I should say not me, but you know, for my geckos to try out. Anyways, let me go ahead and grab the box. Alright, finally, we're at the good stuff. So, in this box is Repashy Superfoods brand new seasonal gecko diet, Fig Frenzy. And look at that. There's a Leachianus on the cover of this container. How exciting is that? So, anyways, obviously this one container is not all that's in this giant box in here. That'd be crazy, right? We actually have a whole bunch of these. Obviously, because we do sell the diets at the shows. So there's a bunch of them in here. Our geckos will never go hungry again. And there's even more boxes. But anyways, let me get this cardboard box off the table. All right, there you have it, the giant Fig Frenzy Tower. Now, obviously, Repashy has a bunch of other diets, so you're probably asking yourselves right now, why come out with another one? Why are they coming out with these seasonal blends? As you know, they also have several other seasonal blends. They have Pineapple Express, Mulberry Madness, Cherry Bomb. There's probably a couple others I'm forgetting. And now, the newest one, Fig Frenzy. Now, the ingredients in this are very unique, and we're gonna go over them in a minute. And also, we are gonna do a little test tonight. We're gonna feed a few different breeding groups this diet and see out of the different species, which gecko species likes this new diet the most. There's definitely something as to why they probably put a Leachianus on the cover of this, so maybe the Leachies will like this the most. We're definitely gonna give this to Goliath and see how he enjoys it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into what makes this gecko diet unique versus the other seasonal blends that Repashy's come out with. So back years ago when Alan Repashy was originally formulating these commercial diets, he was using as a base 3 parts baby food and 1 part some kind of meat-based baby food like chicken or turkey. So over the years, as these diets evolved, it switched from chicken because it was super expensive, harder to find, to stuff like whey protein, rice, pea protein. Of course, you see in a lot of the ingredients now, insect protein. They're coming out with this diet to actually reintroduce back into the Crested Gecko diets because they use it successfully in other diets, chicken broth as the protein source, the main protein source. It's actually the second ingredient on here, chicken broth. First ingredient being banana powder. So chicken broth is the main source of protein in this diet, which is, I think, super unique and pretty cool. So when you're buying this, you are getting a completely different type of diet than any of the other blends or even any of the other brands that are currently out there making gecko diet. And one of the unique things with chicken broth as the protein source, I was reading in the release that it's 94% made up of protein. So 94% of this chicken broth is protein, which is super, super high. So that's a unique thing specifically to this diet, and that's why they're kind of saying in there that they believe like Leachianus might enjoy this diet possibly the most. We'll find out on our end tonight from our own little test, and that's probably why they actually have a Leachianus on the label, which is, in my opinion, now one of my favorite labels because I love Leachianus. But anyways, besides that, of course, its name is Fig Frenzy. So of course, you go a couple ingredients over. Yeah, actually, only the third ingredient, you have fig powder. So it actually says on here, let me just find it real quick. Figs are one of the most abundant fruits available in New Caledonia and a primary food source for all the gecko species that live there. Palm fruits are also a natural native source of food, and thus we are including date palm fruit in this formula as well. So, a few other really cool, unique things. You know, when these companies, especially Repashy and Pangea, when they're formulating these diets, a lot of thought is going into the process of making this. They're just not throwing random ingredients into it to try to sell something to you. But yeah, so I'm super excited to get this into the gecko enclosures tonight and see which of the species is going to favor it the most. Maybe all of them will destroy it, maybe they won't eat it. We'll see what happens. So, this is how we're gonna set up this little experiment tonight. I've already opened up the big container. This is my own personal container, not for sale. And I guess it smells like decently good. I don't know, maybe the chicken's kind of throwing me off. Chicken broth does not smell like chicken broth, I will say that. Should I try it? Think I should try it? Nah. Not now, not today. So, anyways, went ahead and mixed some up in here. It kind of is like a maroonish kind of color, if you can see that there. And how we are going to break it down, break it down. This big dish right here is, so these are the experimental dishes, right? Boom, boom, boom. This big one, it's a little different than the others. This is the Leachianus dish for tonight. And then we have these three trays right here, kind of color coded, but I also wrote, it's on the bottom, so they're not gonna be licking the marker part, but this orange is for the Crested Gecko breeding group. The red is, my handwriting is terrible on this, the Gargoyle Gecko breeding group, and then green for Chahouas breeding group, or pair, I guess I should say. There's only two in there. So yeah, I'm gonna fill these three up evenly, and then I'm gonna give the Leachianus, though, it's Goliath and his girlfriend are both in the same enclosure. So I gotta give them a lot, because if I give them just a little, they probably will. Ooh, this mixed up thick. Oh, dang. I noticed that a lot with the Repashy diets. Oh, look at that. I did not blend it that thick at all. I thought I didn't blend it or didn't put enough in there. Oh, I think it usually says on the ingredient labels, like it will, or the directions, it will thicken over time. Literally, I had this in the blender, I was pouring some in and I was like, this is kind of watery, but I'll leave it be for the experiment. Oh, no. That is like, look at that. It ain't falling. So this will be a good experiment. I'll have to maybe I'll do a before and after picture. Holy smokes. Anyways, I'll let that settle some and give some to the Crested Geckos, the Gargoyle Geckos, and the Chahouas. Boom, boom, boom. That's about even for them. So, that is our semi-controlled experiment for tonight. So, we will see which breeding group, which species is more into the Fig Frenzy from Repashy. And I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow. Welcome back, guys. So, the results are in for Fig Frenzy taste test competition between the different New Caledonian species. And actually, since I last talked to you all, I kind of changed things up a little bit because I didn't want to get just a single result from each species. So I ended up doing a few more breeding groups to get kind of a better understanding, hopefully. really what I need to do is an entire gecko feeding night where I feed all the animals and see how everyone likes it. However though, so what I ended up doing is I picked 4 different crested gecko breeding groups that I fed just straight fig frenzy to, right? So here's the 4 containers right here. I did 2 gargoyle gecko groups. I did 2 Chahouas groups. I did 2 Leachianus groups, of course the big bowl belonging to Goliath, and then I did another for a smaller Nuami pair. And then I have a bonus gecko species right here. So see if you can guess it right now. Actually, go ahead and guess what species completely cleaned out the bowl at the end here. Comment below, and then I'll tell you what it is at the end of the video. So, anyways, the results seem to be pretty much even between everyone. So let's first look at the crested geckos. It seems like all 4 groups ate about half of the diet. They didn't clean out the bowl, but they didn't leave it untouched at all. So they were definitely interested in it, which is really good, especially because we've never fed this diet to them before. This is brand spanking new. Now, we do feed Repashy diets, and I've gone over this in previous videos where we do mix up Pangea and Repashy together occasionally. Sometimes we do straight Repashy, sometimes we do straight Pangea. But overall, our geckos are not used to a single specific diet. So when we bring in a new diet, I do feel like it is easier for our geckos to transition into that new diet. So this is just straight fig frenzy. Nothing has been mixed into it. So yeah, the crested geckos, it was about, I'll show you guys a close-up of course, but it was about halfway. They, you see the bottom of the dish in some parts, but they left some in there as well. This first group right here, I think this was our lily white group at the top. They did pretty good. Not too much left in there. Now the gargoyles, I would say out of everyone here, they probably touched it the least. However, I do find my gargoyles are slightly more picky than normal, but there are some good lick marks. There's a couple footprints in here. But yeah, maybe the one group ate about half of theirs though, because you do see some of the bottom of the dish on that one. And then the Chahouas, one group ate, it seems like just, and I keep my Chahouas just 1-in-1 pairs. One pair ate a little bit. I see like a tiny part of the bottom of the dish. The other ate about over halfway of it, maybe 3/4 of the diet is gone in there, because I did put a lot in these containers. So they did pretty good. And yeah, actually the Leachianus, which is kind of the official sponsor of Fig Frenzy, I guess. Goliath and his girl, they ate probably 90% of it. There's still a little bit on the bottom in there, but a lot of, you can also see the bottom of this big giant bowl. And now, let me also reiterate, I said this before, this wasn't their normal feeding night. They just ate the day before, actually. Where usually we skip a day, or in some cases 2 days before we feed them again, just based on if we're feeding insects or not in between. So this wasn't their normal, typical feeding day. Or if it was, I could see a lot more of these dishes probably completely cleaned out. Because then the next Leachianus group, they just had a small tray. Of course, not nearly at the amount I put in Goliath's dish, but yeah, they completely almost annihilated it. Still a little bit on the side there, but I mean, they did pretty good. Now, the mystery gecko species, that completely destroyed it. And I just threw a couple random trays into other species just to see what happened. And this was our giant day gecko group that I actually keep out on our patio in an outdoor screen enclosure. They just annihilated this. There's nothing left, so they really liked it. Anyways, overall pretty good results. I was really thinking that a lot of these may not even touch the diet at all. But yeah, results seem to be pretty good, so I'll definitely be, with this big jar right here, be utilizing this diet, and I'll probably be testing out blending it with some other diets as well. Yeah, so overall, I think it's pretty cool that they have unique ingredients in this that are different than the other stuff. I think the chicken broth is a cool idea to bring back into the diet market. with it having 94% protein as the content in there, as the main protein source. Of course, they also have a little bit of insect meal in there as well as egg protein too. So it's not just straight chicken broth as the protein. But it's cool because if you do add this to your feeding routine or feeding schedule, then your geckos are getting a different source of protein. And I think the more different types of the good ingredients out there that they're getting in their diets, the better. Also, now if you're thinking about switching it up and getting this diet for your geckos, maybe don't go all in at first, because there's a good chance they may not eat it right away, especially if you've been stuck, your gecko's been stuck on a single diet. So slowly transition them into eating it. Maybe just add like 20% Fig Frenzy to their current diet, then add 50%. Then eventually you may be able to transition to go all in. And that's my recommendation for how to get a gecko onto a new diet. Anyways, I do want to say that this video was not sponsored at all by Repashy. I was just super excited to get a new product in and try it out and let you guys know what we think, what our geckos think of Repashy's new Fig Frenzy diet. So anyways, that's all I got for today's video. Make sure to hit that like button, comment below. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.